Today we are going to embark on a journey to talk a little bit more about some of the new security situations that happen with a variety of different Microsoft services and applications and operating systems and Copilot and Recall and God knows what else. Actually, we have a couple of very recent stories that were published all over the web, and we have a couple of our own as well. So without further ado, welcome to That IT Show podcast, and let's roll the intro and start the discussion. Okay, what do you want to start with?
Let's introduce the guest. We have a guest.
Guest. Hello, guest.
You do the introductions.
Actually, you've seen him in one of the previous episodes, some 6 or 7 months ago, I think. The episode was related to security, and he is a security expert. He is our head of the study program for cybersecurity, among other things, and the chair as well. His name is Zlatan, and we called him today because A, he is a security expert, B, he's a cool dude, C, he is one of our favorite colleagues, D, he has a broad knowledge about various security-related topics, and E, we're going to enjoy ourselves by playing stupid games with his excellent English.
Okay.
You are welcome.
Yeah, no problem. Give me my sparkling water back.
Okay, so let's start with me trying to explain what we are here to do. My primary objective was to try to talk about Microsoft's best attempt of implementing Gestapo into every small company, and them completely failing to explain why their new idea actually is worth anyone's money. So let's talk about the Microsoft Recall. I'm sorry, Microsoft Recall. It's not a Total Recall. Total Recall was a nice movie.
Yeah.
And the tool.
And the tool, yes.
Okay.
And now Microsoft has introduced something called Microsoft Recall.
There are a lot of people online who are calling it Total Recall.
Yes, the idea is, let me just summarize the cheerful marketing bit that Microsoft does, because I took a look at it a couple of minutes ago. Basically, the idea is this. Your PC is going to take a screenshot of your desktop every 5 seconds if nothing changes, or when something changes. So basically the same thing that the screen recorder tool was doing when the screen recorder tools existed. And from what I got, what I realized about the tool itself, they actually used the screen recorder tool from Windows 7, whatever, to do the recording. And then in the background, the PC is going to do the AI thing, do the image recognition, do the object classification and everything else, and then put everything that it saw into a SQL database that is readily available to any user on the desktop.
Basically, a more powerful, more pumped up version of search is going to happen.
Yes, this was what Microsoft is trying to tell you.
There
are a couple of things that we need to know. First, it won't work on every PC. It is going to work only on the Copilot Plus PCs. And Copilot Plus PCs are the PCs that are sneakily trying to avoid saying that they are introducing ARM to the mainstream market, because Copilot Plus PCs are based on Snapdragon
currently,
and they are completely in the Intel free.
Yeah, currently.
Yes, but I don't think that this is going to change in the near future.
It was already announced that it will.
I think that this announcement is just trying to shore up the flank, because Intel is probably completely bonkers about this, because Microsoft is introducing their own line of PCs with completely new architecture and with a completely new set of functions, because this function is insane. I'm going to be straight
frank, yeah.
But the other functions this PC has are much better than that the usual regular Intel PC does. Especially the function that describes this as 20 plus hours of playback time on a laptop PC. And this is something that Intel is unable to do right now. So I think that introducing or saying that they're going to introduce something based on Intel in near future is just a way of Microsoft saying to Intel, please don't be mad, try to come up with something that works.
Okay, my worry, and something that we also need to discuss, I read a Microsoft Learn article about this feature and managing it. Well, I'm going to forget about the fact that there are some things written there that are really scary. Stuff like group policy for, we discussed this today for a second, group policy setting in GPO in corporate environments that is called turn off basically this feature, and you need to enable it. That was the starting point of the discussion. I seem to remember that they changed something in their wording about this, at least in the aspect of talking to the public. But that article is still there. It was updated in May, so it's very, very recent. And the second worry for me is a fact that I read on, I think on the same article, that they are going to also screenshot even stuff like incognito tabs. Or those that should be basically in private.
They said that they're going to screenshot everything that is displayed on the PC. So
yeah,
everything
no matter what the password or text.
Let me involve Zlatan into this, and let me just start with one question. If I turned on screen recorder, not recall feature, if I turned on screen recorder on a PC, would you work on it?
It depends where that recording is saved.
And
it's saved locally. It's available to all the local users.
Okay, but basically this is not available to all local users. So I will just try to put some light on all these stories.
Please do.
Idea behind that, it's great using artificial intelligence to improve efficiency of your work. So basically what is main idea behind this? If the tool notice or find the pattern that when you came or log in on a computer, you open, I don't know, Outlook, you open this application, you start working on this. So idea is that I do for you everything that he figure out that you're doing in the past. Okay?
Okay.
And that will help you in doing your work.
Okay.
Basically, the main problem is where he stored this data. So basically it's stored locally, and the only reason why this is only supported on the Copilot PC Plus because only
it requires local CPU power to enable to AI.
So and basically Microsoft don't say anything about ARM platform, etc. They use this CPU only for AI capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Basically that's the main reason why using that CPU, and of course power consumption is much lower than on Intel.
Yeah, accelerated.
And the problem is it is stored locally, and basically you need to have system right to access to this data.
Okay.
Microsoft said that. And
yes.
It's stored in location where if you try to go to folder where this is stored, you will not be able to do it.
Okay.
But basically, you can bypass that Microsoft security control because all control is using access control list in NTFS. And basically, there are a lot of applications need to be able to access
directly access NTFS, yes.
You talk about screen capturing software, so you need to have right access to be able to store the data. So basically, there is a way where you can steal
hijack the process, basically.
You don't need to hijack the process, you just need the security token from some applications which have access to that and use that token to access the data. So you even don't need to become administrator, but you need to be user. So I'm not able to access the, if on some PC there are two users, even as administrator, I'm not able to
by default.
No, I'm not able to find other users' recordings.
Okay.
I only can access mine.
Okay.
But basically, what's the problem? So right now we have a lot of users which use, or it's not so hard to trick them to install some, let's say, trunk horses or some spyware application, etc. So basically, if as users I run some programs which can easily exploit what I say right now, steal the token on some application, access to all this data, and just send it to someone online.
Yes, but let's do the first thing that is bothering me. What you are basically saying is that suddenly we are creating the most important, the setup for the set of most important data that you have access to, because this is going to contain all the data that you are going to access in the last 90 days. So basically, suddenly, instead of trying to exploit different applications and trying to exploit different tokens and everything else, Microsoft is collecting everything for you to just grab and transfer out to your PC.
So when we're talking about why this is the problem, so there are two types of the problem. One is related to the hackers. So for the hackers, I think
Treasure trove.
when these computers start shipping to the customers, etc.,
You mean in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, they will only try to find a way to steal only these records. They will stop trying to find anything else.
Because they don't need
It's
to.
like a reversal of security to obscurity.
Yes, and I'm almost 100% sure that these recall services from the Microsoft didn't pass through security acceptance in Microsoft. So I personally don't know anyone who work in the Microsoft security part, but anyone who work in security will not say, okay, this product is
Very good
secure.
idea. And secure.
I'm just going
And
to say that
another things which are very important is related to your part of introduction related to GPO. So basically, why you have the settings which say disable it, and you need to enable
Enable
Enable the
disablement.
disable.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason, because the first idea of that services was that by default, the service will be enabled.
Which they backtracked on in the past couple of
And
weeks.
few days ago, they decide that they will create this as opt-in, which means that default will be disabled and you need to enable it. But GPO was created during the time where these options supposed to be enabled, and that's the reason why this GPO is disabled. So basically, I don't see much problem in that, because in most cases in the company environment, even you have option through the GPO to disable option that some users can enable it without your knowledge.
Just for reference, this article has been updated on May 23rd, which is 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I know that, and GPO it's great, and basically you don't want GPO which say enable.
You mean from system admin side? Okay, I get it. Corporate environment is different. Corporate owns the stuff that you do. Therefore, for you as an employer / owner of the company and correspondingly IT department, that makes sense.
So
okay, I get
basically,
it.
from IT department perspective, you have a users and you have option to disable recall or to ignore it. So it's on the user, will they use it or not.
Okay.
So in most cases, the company will choose option to disable it if they think that is some security issue. Some other things which, if you have option through GPO to enable it, it will be more securely, let's say, dangerous for the users, because if you can enable it without knowledge of the users, you will probably, right now there is no tools, but it's a not so big problem if I am a domain admin, I have control of all
everything.
these PCs. So basically, I can use all these recordings, etc., to track activity of what my work.
Let's come back to this topic a little bit later.
Let me ask another question before it slips my mind. Under GDPR, if you are an employer, you have to actually keep track of every database that you are currently have on your premises.
No. If it contains private data,
If it contains private data. Okay, a recall is going to contain private data.
definitely.
Okay.
So does this mean that you as an employer, once you deploy the GPO that enables the copilot, suddenly says that you are liable completely under GDPR, and you need every user to sign the GDPR waiver because you are collecting the data without their knowledge? So is it even possible to have a
A very good
something
discussion.
something that can be enabled silently, that collects data even on the business PC, because you can take your business PC home, but you cannot. Right now, there is no way to disable recall during some hours. It is either on or off.
Yeah.
So either you are going to create GPOs that are going to run during the work hours. You are going to say everything that is done during the work hours is the official job, and then stop doing the recall during the night. Or you're collecting personal data of every user, because people in the companies take their laptops home, give them to their children do something,
Which they shouldn't.
which they shouldn't, but they do it. Suddenly you have access and you have enabled saving personal
But-
data of children that are under 13.
You don't have even to go that far. You don't have to complicate things. People use laptops while they're working for their personal stuff. Let's say that one of their private emails contains their user ID, from the, let's say, or personal VAT ID or social security number, as people in the US call them. These are definitely the types of data that are GDPR protected. So even there are so basic examples where this might be a problem.
Basically, legally, the answer is very easy. In most company, there is a policy which say that on the company computer you only
Are
need
allowed to do
work
corporate stuff.
corporate stuff. So you are not allowed to do any private stuff on the company computer.
Yes, but on the other hand,
Other things which are also important. I have previously situation like that, and from one famous lawyer company in Croatia, they call me to do something which is illegal. So basically, by the law, if you want, for example, maybe some good example, if you want to put video surveillance in
Okay.
all offices, is that allowed by the law?
Yes.
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 Because
And-
you can say that it's for protection of your
Okay, so
money and
basically,
whatever,
what
buildings.
is illegal? Illegal is if you put some CCTV or some surveillance system without knowledge of your workers.
And
Yes.
or if you use the data from the CCTV system for, less than good stuff.
but
So
ba-
basically, it's the same situation. So right now, there is no option to enable recall for the customers. There is only option to disable it.
yes.
Mhm.
There is no option to enable it.
Okay, but who is responsible? If you are using company PC
Okay.
and you do not disable the recall, your company, because it is company PC, is collecting data about you,
Which are
then-
only company related.
which is related to whatever you do on your PC. So it is going to be everything else. Because as a side note, the first thing that I'm going to do on everybody's computer when I see a new Copilot PC is going to press the Copilot button and say, when did I last saw porn? And then I'm going to just say, okay.
And then you're going to drop email to all of the people employed by the company to mock them. Yeah.
Yes. So this brings pranks to another level. But let's be
We should have some fun.
let's be normal and say I see a problem from GDPR standpoint, a huge problem. I see a problem with data that is going to be stored that people don't expect is going to be stored. For example, one-time passwords, because it has been proven. And this is probably the first security feature that somebody introduced that has exploits and ready-made tools already on the market before the feature is even on.
Now, there are GitHub repositories with more than a few available, very nasty.
So
things.
basically, in most cases, you in front have some tools to break something which are in release candidate state or something like that.
Yes.
It's not something which are just related to this, but this is very interesting. And basically, related to GDPR and personal data. So basically, if I'm working, I don't know, in an insurance company, and my PC taking some snapshots from time to time from the system,
Just keep on talking.
and uh, of course, during my work, I opening some insurance policy, etc. On these policies, there are some personal data from some third party, our customers, etc. And basically, all this data will be stored on local computer, but access to this data, it's designed in the way that only users can have access.
Okay, so it's local network, local
we can-
database.
we
No, no,
can-
no,
we can-
that's not what he was saying. He said you use the computer, your data gets saved, only you get access. That's what he
Yes.
said.
Okay, and this is the normal procedure in the
So
company because I
basically,
have access to
I
the data.
know that that is very dangerous situation where you can collect some malware
Mhm.
which run in your user profiles, and that malware will have access to.
Mhm.
But basically, what is difference if you collect some screen recording software as a Trojan horse or some malware
Mhm.
and run it on your PC?
The company is not running it. The person who is installing it is the company. The person who is running it is the company. Because when my company buys me Windows 11 with recall, suddenly the company is running the malware, the screen record. It's not malware; it's a feature now, but it's a recorder. So the company is the one who is collecting the data under GDPR. They are responsible for the data. What happens if my data gets collected?
But I say, what is the difference if some tools collecting some screenshots and storing locally, and some malware steal the data, in comparison where some malware record that data in the first place and steal it?
I get it. Yeah, it's
Legally,
basically the same.
it's the same.
Legal is the same, but from GDPR standpoint, you can say, okay, this was a malicious software that I didn't install. This,
No, but basically,
the result is the same. But the person who actually started the process, in this case, is the company, not some malicious outside actor.
no, it's the same. So storing data locally where only you have access to it is not illegal.
Mhm.
Okay.
So illegal is, so no one will steal your data if you can't run any software on it which will exploit access to this data.
Okay, now let's talk about getting data out of other people's computers once in a corporate environment. Inside the domain, you are a domain admin, and you can try to access their own their disks.
Okay?
You have BitLocker recovery agent turned on. So let's now talk about the safety. How safe it is?
No, it's not safe at all. So basically, if you are in corporate environment, you as a domain admin, you will able to access this data.
Because what
How is it saved? Are the screenshots like JPEGs or something like that, or
it's a I'm
it's
also not sure, but
it's a combination. It's a
screenshots.
combination of screenshots that are actually JPEG. I think they are PNGs, if I'm correct. But
Okay.
they are images.
you do
and-
realize why I'm asking that?
Yeah.
And they have an SQL database, SQLite.
not SQLite.
It's
Lite,
SQLite,
yeah.
SQLite database that is running alongside it that contains all the data from inside the image, and also all the objects that the AI
Detects.
detects in
Okay.
the image, so that you can actually search by keywords and then find the right screenshot. So that if from what I understand, then the AI tries much harder to understand what is also on the image.
So
Okay.
basically, it's a very easy job for the hackers. They just need to query the database and just ask, give me something which have text passwords in it. So he will do everything in front, text recognition, etc., and he will just extract.
There is
So-
there is an excellent repository on GitHub that contains the script that says, "Give me everything related to Amazon Web Services," and it just detects everything, one-time passwords, everything else, and just dumps it. So the keys, everything else.
Basically, this is going to probably put even more onus on educating your end users, because probably attack vectors from security standpoint are going to become even more social engineering. Because as long as you get access to user, you're going to get access to his data.
So
Other attack vectors which are more complicated are going to fade into the background probably a little bit.
if you go to Bust and check the evolution of this type of attack, this is not attack, but basically it's something which make attack easier. So 30 years ago, you have keyloggers with small piece of the hardware which is installed between your computer PC box and keyboard.
Yes,
Okay?
you can buy those for $30 now. They're relatively
So it's
inexpensive. They
like,
work.
I don't know, for $30 you can buy one which have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, so you
Yes.
can remotely
Yes.
read
Yeah,
the
yeah,
data.
there are quite a few of
And
those.
basically, few years later, NSA decide, okay, instruction for all employees, you never type your password whole on keyboard. Half on keyboard, half on Sans keyboard.
Mhm.
And again, 1 year later or something like that, there is new product, screen capture.
Mhm.
It's a piece of the hardware which is installed between computer and VGA cable,
VGA cable,
which
yeah.
record everything. So if you use that on-screen keyboards, you are able also to see what's going on. And right now, Microsoft implemented as a software
Mhm.
to record everything which is going on the screen. Right now, they didn't implement keylogger.
Mhm.
So basically, if I type password on some field, he will not see it. He will
Are
just see the
you
dots.
completely sure?
Yeah.
Because nobody is mentioning anything about this being implemented, but nobody has mentioned that it's not being implemented. The screen recorder was a keylogger at the same time. It was key logging all the keys that got pressed. For all the people who did not know what the screen recorder was, it's one of the most useful applications if you are a lazy administrator. Because if you want to set up a new system and you don't want to keep notes, you turn on the screen recorder, you set up the system, and then you go through the recording and then write down all the passwords and everything else that you typed in. So you don't need to keep the track on everything, and you can create the documentation later. But screen recording requires you to actively press record on your PC.
No, but I say if I type the password on some field, screen recorder will not see exact characters, just
I
length
can-
of the passwords.
Unless you press the I.
I'm not
okay.
sure. Yes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this.
Because it's just screen recording, it's not recording your keystrokes.
Okay. Anyways, I see that this is going to be one feature that Linux is not going to be implementing in
The
near
amount
future.
of comments that I saw by people who were talking about this feature and saying, okay, this is the final straw, I'm moving to Linux, is in thousands. There are Reddit posts in hundreds related about to this specific topic. People are going berserk.
I know that I'm going to go move to Linux because I don't have any reason to stay in Windows if this is the current state of the.
What about company policy?
Which company policy?
Algebra University company policy.
We don't have a corporate policy that says that we have to use Windows, and you know that.
I'm going.
As long as the work gets done, nobody cares which tools you use.
I'm going to create a research project on how to exempt yourself from company policy, and then do and then
Q1.
and then be in the group that is going to be tested on. So I'm going to exempt myself, and I'm going to put you into the group that is non-exempt. So we'll see the difference.
So basically, I don't see the reason for that because, especially and previously, when Microsoft say, okay, this is some new feature, but you have option to disable it, it's okay for me also. But right now, where by default it will be disabled.
My
What's the
problem with that is, and I'm sure you're going to both relate to this. There are there were many occasions in the past where Microsoft said something is off, then Windows Update came, and all of a sudden it's on.
Okay, maybe this will happen also.
I'm also have one problem with Microsoft, and this is that they have.
You
been-
have more problems with Microsoft. But
Yes,
just say one.
I have a huge number of problems with Microsoft. I'm going to pull one out of the queue and then just use it. So
Is it on
Microsoft,
top of the queue or someone?
just random.
Yeah,
one.
random.
Random one that just came into my mind. The thing is that they have been trying to implement search into the start menu for the last 10 years. They probably iterated through 20 or so different approaches. It still doesn't work. So suddenly they say, now we are going to collect everything about your PC. This is going to be nice. This is going to work amazingly, and it is going to be safe.
And searchable.
And searchable. And safe. Safe is the most important word. And I have also one small thing to add to all of this. How large is your installation of Windows 11 now going to be?
No, that's not the problem. The stuff that people have been discussing, and which we need to put on the table as well. If you have Windows 10 or 11, the average, let's say, the space usage for that is 40, 50 gigabytes after you install stuff that you need,
Yes.
etc. And then the less convenient truth about this, related to the feature that we are currently discussing, is that that part of the disk or that directory can actually use significant amount of capacity. So that is going to be a problem for a lot of people, especially with people who have smaller system drives. Because if I remember correctly, it's recorded on a system drive, not something random outside of that. So you could end up having, I don't know, 250 gigabytes of, JPEGs, PNGs, whatever they may be, and the corresponding database that also churns through it and whatnot. So it can easily grow to God knows how many gigabytes, especially if you spend a lot of time at your computer. Because if you do, and we do, we spend an average of, let's say, 7, 8, or 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, depending on the day, on a computer. That means that the amount of data that's going to be saved is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And a lot of people will not like it for that reason as well.
Especially,
So, just to answer for your observation related to Microsoft, so you need to check dictionary and see the difference between safety and secure. So Microsoft say it will be safety. So it's a safety. It's not secure.
okay, okay.
But
Now
Windows,
I know in Croatian language we don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
a different word for that.
it
It's
still doesn't
related to
work.
your joke, related to my English.
Yeah,
Yes, you are
that's awesome.
you are completely on point there. I completely agree. But there is also a word that we are sometimes using about Microsoft that is misused, and this is stupidity. Corporate stupidity is best, because you said that probably now nobody from the security part of the Microsoft said this is okay. But
I
still,
think that I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I also saw a couple of comments of people who said that probably the first time the security part of Microsoft heard about recall was when Microsoft CEO said, "Okay, this is a nice thing that we are going to do," and they probably had a big stroke and then decided, no, how can we help this thing go through without any problems?
Let's try to disassociate for a second from the fact that we are IT people. Okay, let's try, and we will fail, but still, let's try to put ourselves in the shoes of a regular user. Okay, a regular user reads about this or hears about it. I'm guessing that there might be only two reactions. Yeah, I kind of like it, or Jesus Christ, I hate it. For the second part of that, so for the users, holy moly, what is this? I'm pretty sure that the situation with I want to migrate to Linux or something else is going to be an actual thing, but that's not what worries me the most. Microsoft, especially recently, and I'm not saying this out of hate. I'm stating statistical data now. For the past, let's say, 6 to 8 months, if I start counting the amount of 0 days and the amount of security patches that they included in their Patch Tuesdays. And then if I add on top of it the amount of stuff that they broke with their updates. Currently, Microsoft is in the doghouse in terms of public trust, not only here in this region. In the US, it's worse, especially after they had that Congress something report when Azure breach happened a couple of months ago, which was something to read and wonder, because the amount of data that got exposed via that the craziest leaks of all times, in a sense, was insane. But only in the last Patch Tuesday, or actually in the April Patch Tuesday release, there were 149 vulnerabilities in 0 days. I mean, and 90-something% of those were Windows related. So we are talking about a public perception here. I'm not bashing them. I'm just stating statistical facts. People are not currently in a state of trusting them, or many others, for that matter as well, for these types of features, especially having in mind what type of data they record. And even furthermore so, if we go back to the part of the market which covers us as IT people, I think that I know from personal experience by talking to a lot of you guys and many others, that people who are doing a lot of maintenance work. They do tend to store their private data related to that, so usernames, password, IP addresses, and whatnot, in Excel sheets or in the text files or whatnot, which will surely get they are going to get grabbed by recall, and that's a problem.
Yes, but
So
Because it
just-
doesn't have the capability
I
to
s-
distinguish
ju-
different types of content.
Just to answer that. So basically, you say that we need to put ourselves in position of some regular users. So regular users don't know what is Microsoft Tuesday, and
Patch Tuesday, yes. Okay,
they don't
explain.
know about that. And
they just
a
know that
number
the computer breaks every month.
and they don't know about security vulnerabilities, 0 days, etc. They don't know anything about it.
That's also a
So
problem.
From my perspective and my experience, so I think that right now the Microsoft operating system is more secure than more Linux distribution. Maybe you don't agree with me,
Okay.
but the reason why we have a lot of security vulnerabilities in Microsoft, etc., is that in most cases Microsoft is more complex, so there is more places where you can find some vulnerabilities. And the second thing is, if you put yourself in the shoes of the hacker.
Hmm.
So, for example, let's say I am one hacker, and the last 20 years, hackers' primary goal is financial.
Hmm.
So, I start working to some man-in-the-browser malware, which will infect some computers and, for example, steal your money if you using some web application banking system.
Okay.
Okay. So I have option to choose. Okay, I will write some code for the Microsoft or write for the Linux.
Or OS 10, but yes.
Okay, if I write it for the Linux, for me, it will be much easier to write
Okay, I get it.
that malware. But how many people
Use Linux on desktop.
lose Linux on desktop and going to the e-banking? In most cases, the e-banking system don't allow you to use anything but
Windows.
but Windows. So basically, it's much easier to create the malware for the Linux than for the Windows.
Okay.
But the number of users is much lower, and that's the reason why the hackers force and trying to find vulnerabilities and exploit Windows system.
Okay.
Okay,
Agreed.
okay, I'm completely with you on this, but I'm going to put two more things on the table now. First, how do you search for files on your computer?
I use your tool that you recommended in one of the previous episodes. What's the name?
Search everything.
Search everything. That's it.
You know
Because
search-
it's
you know
because it
search
actually
everything. I
works.
know
Because
Yes.
it works.
You know how it works. It has system writes on NTFS and then reads
Aha,
the
the-
NTFS.
okay.
So we have solved the problem of your files not being accessible. Because everybody who wants to have that search done fast, they're going to use search everything. It's a small tool. It's
But basically, that tool you need to be administrator. To
yes,
run it.
yes, you
Okay.
run it as an administrator, and then it indexes the NTFS and knows about every file on the NTFS. It's
Just like
completely-
Linux.
Just like Linux. But
Yes.
the thing is that we have solved the problem of having to have to access your JPEGs or however whatever the screenshot.
But you
is.
need to be administrator on computers, and basically, even if you know the place where the
Yes.
file is, you can't access that file because access control list will not allow you.
Hopefully.
So basically, if there is two users on that Windows, and one users have this recall option enabled and store everything on the data, and you are the second users who are administrator, you will not be able to access this data.
I shouldn't be
Uh,
able.
No, you will not be able.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
How are you going to protect against it if I'm an
Okay,
admin?
but
So,
let me
so
let
basically, what's the problem? The data encrypted, so only that
Okay, I
users
get
have
it.
access. But what you can do as administrator, you can put some logon script to that users when he log on to computer to access that and send to you.
Yes.
okay, but okay, let's talk about another thing.
Do you
users
open access to it by some kind of a password or something, or does it just work out of the box? I'm asking for security reasons. For example, I log in. I'm a user who has recall turned on. I log in into a computer.
So
Does it ask
basically,
me for
you as
something?
the users are not able to access this data.
No, no, no. I have it turned on for myself. I log in. I have access to the feature. Do I need to punch in some kind of a password or a fingerprint or something before I have access to it? Or is it
No.
automatic? Okay, I get it.
Can one user turn it on and the other off?
Probably yes.
Is the computer
If it's
set? Is
If
the
it's,
computer
it's
set
per
the co-
user policy, we need to
you
check
can
that.
check is the GPO for the user and computer.
so basically,
Yes, I will.
basically right now we're talking about something that we find
Okay, but let's-
information
It is
about
per
it.
user. It is per user.
Let's now talk about how users are. Not going to say stupid. Users are sometimes complacent. Complacent is a good word.
Okay.
So you said that people are storing passwords in the Excel sheets and so on.
Which they are.
Lot of them.
Once you implement recall,
Mhm.
suddenly as a user, I don't need to store my passwords anymore.
Okay. Because it can
I'm
tell me
going,
that.
You can
I'm going to
ask Copilot.
constantly ask my Copilot, can you use the same password, what the password was? So you are going to reinforce the learning of the Copilot with your passwords. So you're going to have your passwords even more reinforced in the local LLM that is going to be on your system, so that the hackers not only know what the data they're looking for, they also can see what the data is the most important for you, because this is the data that you are probably most
But
searching
you
for.
just compare that with situation where the most users, when go to internet to some page, click on the save my password. So that password is a store in secure store on the Windows.
I want to mention a couple of things. This was a very, very good comment. Thing number one, if I'm a domain admin and I don't have access to users' data in recall, I change user's password and log in.
I think that you will not be able because it use EFS. So you will be able if you have recovery agent certificate.
So you're
from
getting with them.
CA.
Okay, I
And
understand. Okay.
basically, best practice say in the company, if you implement certificate authority servers, you need to, as a domain admin, when you create it, you need to export private key
private
of
keys
the
and so on and so on and
recovery
so on.
agent, split it in the, I don't know,
A
2,
safe
3
deposit box.
places, put one at the lawyer place and
Yeah,
few
bank
people,
account
etc.
box, safe
I
box.
know.
And then you're going. Then
Basically,
you are
I-
going to
I-
actually reach to the lower drawer, put out the USB and put it in your computer,
But-
and say, "Now this is the key because I need it now." And then we are going to get the saves done.
And
So I know some companies in Croatia which do that.
yeah,
There
but
are
me too.
big
Yeah.
companies. But in most cases, the domain admin have this recovery agent certificate inside his profile and never export it and delete it. So it's all the time just
Or
on the click.
they just did the most amazing thing, which I actually saw, the USB key that says AD recovery, that has everything on it, and it's
BitLocker
inside the
key,
laptop.
EFS key, the DSRM key. Yeah.
So-
I want to add, so second thing that I wanted to say, you're going to recognize this. So we are waiting for one of the IEEE conferences to come back with us for the review of one of the papers that we wrote, which is related to penetration testing of Active Directory. So that's I think that conference is in Spain, if I remember correctly. So, I want to connect this to the topic that we are talking about. God knows Active Directory is a Swiss cheese of insecurity and whatnot. And there are many, many different ways of doing things like session hijacking and man-in-the-middle attacks and whatnot. I'm wondering how we're going to protect recall from all of these as well. So forget about my comment about changing the password. If you can take this, the session, the Kerberos token, for example, which we covered in part in one of our in one of the chapters of our paper, soon to be published, hopefully. I'm wondering how that is going to relate to recall. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So basically, there are a lot of ways how you can protect your Active Directory. So basically, all today known exploits.
Known exploits, okay.
Expect that you make some mistake in your configuration, or even not make mistake. In some cases, you are not able to configure it in a secure way because you have some legacy application, etc. So there is option and the way how you can make it secure for all known vulnerabilities.
Mhm.
Okay, that's one thing. So basically, if I steal some users' tickets for accessing the data, the ticket will not be valid on my local PC and all this data on my local PC. So there is no option. I think so. Again, I didn't
We are
check
having a discussion.
everything. I think that there will not be option which say that you can store your recall data on some file servers or something. So basically, all these vulnerabilities related to Active Directory and Kerberos and TLM, etc., will not help you.
I'm not even saying about storing. I'm just saying checking through. Basically take over the session, log in as a user, and try to work with the data that Recall already
But
has.
you can take a session which have user with some other servers,
Mhm.
but you can't take session on the local computer from the users
Mm,
with
Okay.
that
Okay,
data.
yes, but if I can log in as this particular user,
But not on his local computer, but on some remote file server or some other services.
no, on his local computer. Let's say
what
that you
is
can.
happening with the roaming profiles?
Roaming profiles are dead, so we don't care.
But basically, I think that roaming profiles will not have.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
Recall.
will be insane. It's probably going to be some Windows system folder,
But
which doesn't get.
this is an amazing usage
Yeah,
case for
I'm
roaming
gonna.
profiles.
You keep
Yeah.
on talking. I'm gonna check.
No, this is an amazing usage
It's
case
a-
for roaming profile. Now turn the roaming profile on,
Mhm.
and you're completely free from recall.
see.
Because the AI does not exist on every computer that you're using, so you cannot do the thing.
So basically, the data for the recall will be stored in the application folder, which I think that's not synchronized with roaming profile. But I'm not sure.
I am 99% sure that this is something that they wouldn't do. Yeah. Okay. I
No,
get it.
they probably wouldn't do it because of the simple thing is that it doesn't matter what you're
Can't
doing
find it.
with the data because
Encrypted. So
no, because in order to use the recall, you need the PC to be A enabled. So you need
Yeah.
Snapdragon. If you enable roaming profiles, this means that you are able to log into any PC, and it doesn't make sense to create data on a PC that is not able to process it. So it won't be a thing. But suddenly, Microsoft is working on something that is fundamentally wrong from my perspective. I think that the users will like it. I would like to use it. I would like to have something like this, but the amount of misuse potential is so huge that I won't be enabling it.
So to be honest, I what I think about all these situations. So probably not just two of you, but all our listeners, in past 6 months, received some emails from someone who claimed, "You don't know me, but I know you. I following you last few months. I know what you do on computers,
I sent it
etc., etc."
today or yesterday, the one level. I got one for Europol.
Okay, so basically there are a lot of these things and asking some ransomware or something, etc. So the first thing what I think when I heard about recall was, oh, this can be very shit situation when I receive the next mail like this, and if I have recall on my computer,
okay.
maybe it's true.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yes.
he just now have access to my history of using computer.
The thing that they are going to do with once they get access to your local computer is going to be immense, because everything that can be run is your local computer. And to be honest, people who got ransomware, suddenly the thing that the crackers that are doing the ransomware industry are not going to be interested in encrypting your data. They're going to be interested in trying to download your data as soon as possible to get everything. Because now Microsoft...
For permanent ransomware.
For permanent ransomware. Because right now Microsoft has said, okay, nothing on the system is as important as this exec directory, and this SQLite database, which, for the record, is small and easy to transfer.
So basically, in most cases, from the hacker's perspective, so it's not important this personal data, etc. So it's more important that they will have option to find some of your
Financial data or something.
No, not financial. Your illegal activities or something which let's say,
That can blackmail you. That can
against
blackmail you.
some corporate policy, etc. And basically, if I want to infiltrate to some company, etc., I will try to steal the data, find out, okay, you during your work time, you visiting, I don't know, you trading with cryptocurrency.
Hmm.
Okay? So right now I have some information where I can say, okay, you will do something for me,
Hmm.
or I will send information to your boss that you're
Okay,
trading.
this is the normal blackmail, and the
Yeah.
other thing is that lateral movement across the organization. Once you compromise one computer, is going to become much easier. Because right now, in order to do lateral movement, you need to find a way to discover other people's data that you have saved or you have stored. Now, if I crack any person's PC in a company, I can just ask Copilot, do you know of a way, can I log into another computers on this network? It's going to say yes. Which computers am I able to connect to? These ones. Can you please give me the username and password that I need? Yes, these are the passwords.
There is already a hack for that.
Yeah, okay, so basically,
So lateral network movement is going to become as easy as just typing in the query.
what you say, it's now much easier than
Yes.
previously, because
Yes.
you know that next week I start with this forensic course for
Yeah.
police, etc., etc. So basically, all this information can be found inside some Windows files right now.
Yes, but now Microsoft
It's
did-
not so easy. You can't just ask where I can connect, but all your previous HDP connection, etc. Everything is stored.
Yes, but now what has happened is that Microsoft is going to create the recall. You're going to be able to ask the recall itself. They are going to probably provide you with the PowerShell scripts to talk to recall, so you don't need to actually use the Copilot button, but you can also script it. So I can just put a script on your computer and say, can Veteran's computer just send me an email every time he connects to another PC? And this is going to probably work if I'm able to compromise his computer.
So, if you talking about safety, not security, you must admit that it's much easier to say, Copilot, please remote desktop connect me with this server.
Yes.
And everything is done.
Yes.
It's a great feature.
Yes. And I'm waiting for the Copilot for the server.
I hesitate to even start that discussion because it came to my mind a couple of times when we were having this discussion.
I'm waiting for two things: Copilot for the server and Copilot for the SQL server. I am waiting for the and then
Copilot for
So,
VPNs.
to be honest, I don't follow everything, but I'm not sure that Microsoft even start working on the kernel for server on ARM.
Yeah, I have no information about it currently as well.
I have absolutely no information.
Hardware is not the
on this.
problem, so
I don't see any problems with this, but also they are getting the kernels from Linux and kernels from Windows so close when it comes to Windows subsystem for Linux that I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to port most of the server functionality to Linux kernels. And this wouldn't surprise me. I would do that if I had money and if I were in Microsoft planning for every possible outcome of what is going to happen next.
So again, this is some my perception. I don't have any exact information, etc. But basically, the Microsoft, I think the primary financial product is the Microsoft Office. The next is Azure. So the profit which Microsoft make with Windows 11 or the servers, it's like 5% of Microsoft.
almost on a
profit.
statistical error scale.
So basically, Microsoft will be happy that all applications like Office, etc., and services from the Microsoft work on Linux,
Mhm.
and they will just stop
Mhm.
creating
Windows.
Microsoft Windows.
Yes. How long do you think it is going to be before Microsoft introduces a Copilot Plus Plus feature, where you don't pay for the Copilot Plus, but advertisers can ask your Copilot for prompts?
Okay, you're taking it a step too far.
But
yeah.
it is going to happen.
Okay, I have another thing that
Because why
actually-
bother with your ad history when you can ask your computer?
Okay. We have, both you and I have a couple of clients that are a little bit more security sensitive than the topic that we are currently discussing. I'm guessing that some of the security wording of certain security policies and whatnot in the future is going to change significantly, because I'm absolutely sure that at least some of my clients, and they don't necessarily have to be governmental ones, are going to tell me that I cannot use, or I shouldn't use any kind of Copilot Plus PC to connect to anything that's related to their environment, or if I work via them for somebody else. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen very soon. You understand
So
why?
from my perspective, if I'm that company, I will do the same. So
You agree?
So
Okay.
basically, okay, I'm not against Copilot Plus PC, but if you have enabled recall,
exactly.
there is no way that I will allow you to connect to
Yeah,
any
I'm expecting a lot of security paperwork to happen over the next X amount of months because of that, especially for some of the clients that I have, because 27,000 and whatnot and GDPR, this is also has something to do with it, is going to happen.
So to finish this thing off,
Why? It's been so much fun. Let's continue for a couple of hours.
To finish this thing off, let's try to sum it up. Has Microsoft finally come up with the feature that is both amazing and completely destructive?
Yes.
how destructive is.
Depending on how much you are willing to spend on prompts at your friends' computers.
Especially the ones that haven't been locked.
So basically, I think that these services is great for some purposes. So for most home users, it's great. It will allow you to do things much faster. I think in most cases in the business environment, this GPO will be enabled, which means that that service will be disabled on computers.
Yes. And those
We're going to hold you to that and see what happens. In a couple of years' time, let's rework the
because
episode
I can see the
So it's not so hard for us. So basically, probably we will need to wait some years at university to receive Copilot Plus PC.
No, no, it's coming.
No.
I know.
You're personally, but officially at the company. And basically, it's much easier for us because it's not so good policy, but we are local admins on our computers, even we are not working on
That can be easily
IT
changed.
department. And we will be able to overwrite something that IT department said, but most
I see
users-
So the worst thing that I did as a prank, when we had that the session for our under and grad students for talking about their future papers. Once I remote rebooted a colleague's computer while he was talking, because he was taking 45 freaking minutes and didn't stop. Because those sessions are not meant for long exposures about crap. Right now I'm seeing so much more potential.
I see a potential for an application. And you heard
Just
it here
one?
first. Yes, one. A recall profile generator.
No. Recall, please tell me how much work has Zlatan done today.
No. Recall profile generator.
Okay?
You run recall for 1 day and behave like a normal employee.
Okay?
And then you tell your recall profile generator to create a profile that is going to look normal as you if you are working.
I mean, to fake data.
To fake data,
Okay, I get it.
everything
to
and
take
everything else.
all these applications
All the
which
applications,
exist for tracking
yes,
activity
yes,
of
and
workers.
so on and
Oh,
so
it
on.
looks
so on,
awesome.
so on.
That's awesome.
And then just leave it.
We need to create that app.
Yes.
Yeah, you are in charge. And
So
before
basically, right now you start to like this application.
And
for pranks.
And then I can see the other application.
Oh crap!
I can see the application that is called bad profile generator. I can see when
Bad
we
profile.
suddenly realize that the person we don't like in the company is lagging behind, then we go to see what his recall data is saying, and we see that he's not working at all with our company. He's doing for something for our competitors. And the computer says it is so because Microsoft has collected the data.
So
So framing, basically.
basically,
Reversal of the idea of blackmailing. Somebody you're
Yes.
actually going to frame something.
at the start
Okay.
of the podcast, you say total recall. So there is already tool named Total Recall, which exploit recall
Yeah, we saw that.
Microsoft. Right now, it's need to have administrative rights, but
That
probably
can be done.
they will rewrite it in the way that work as a user.
The amount of things that we are going to see is going to be immense. I know that right now there is an introduction to an episode that we are going to do because we need to do episodes with you.
More than one.
Whatever he's-
Sorry, I have one suggestion. Maybe we can repeat this conversation with more detail related to recall, but you need to give me some Copilot plus PC.
Oh,
to
that's
make-
what you want.
Okay,
I'm
this
going
can-
to make your wish come true.
This can be arranged.
This
But
can be
you
arranged.
need to do 0 day for us on the Copilot PC first. But okay, let's.
Just give me one.
Yes, and I know what you're
No,
thinking.
no, you don't. Actually, I wanted to share something with you, which I didn't share with you actually in the past couple of hours that we've been, the whole day. Today, one of my colleagues in one of those companies that are very sensitive to security did a Windows 11 update to the latest version. You know what the computer did? The computer did the update, rebooted, and logged in as that user again without password.
Which is okay.
No, it's not.
It's fine.
No, it's not.
It's everything is fine.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
So you don't need to put the password.
I
in.
like it when both of you
So
are being,
basically-
you know,
basically-
trolls.
What we
No,
need
no.
is hello.
So basically, there is one vulnerability related to remote desktops, which is like 10 years old or something, and Microsoft decided that they will never patch it because CVE score is like 2 or something like that. But basically, from your computer, if you use remote desktop to connect to some remote, in most cases server, but any computer, and in some point of time you just log off from remote desktop, not your desktop computer. There is way how you can log on without entering any data.
Heard about that one.
Just remove network cable and
Yeah,
connect it back, and he will
because it is going to try to reestablish the
Yeah.
session. Yeah, I saw that.
That's fine. That's
I
completely
like
fine.
it very much.
But the thing is that we are going to see enormous amounts of different things about this, and the next thing that we need to talk about is what Apple did and what Tesla did after this, because Elon Musk, said yesterday that he's going to completely forbid everybody from using Apple's products in his companies, because Apple decided to use OpenAI to process all the data on all the iPhones.
Again, I have great suggestion for you. If you want to talk about it, you need to buy me one iPhone with these features and one Tesla car.
You're very practical. That's awesome. I like it very much. Okay, Apple, we can make it. I know somebody who is going to gladly give that iPhone home after we are done with it. But Tesla is not going to happen.
But we can
We can give
arrange-
him a small Tesla.
No, we can give him a time frame and a Tesla for a time frame. I know a guy who knows a guy who
Who knows
travels
a
a
guy.
lot and who has a Tesla.
Or can just schedule some car testing in local Tesla.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
this is not a problem because I
awesome.
actually know a guy who actually has a Tesla, travels a lot, and he leaves his Tesla in front of his house, and he's completely okay with somebody borrowing his car to see how Tesla works.
So basically, you know that early I have like 2,000 kilometers or something. So car is not so important. It's just joke.
Okay.
But Copilot plus PC is something that I would
Okay,
like to play
we'll
with.
we'll put it on your academic expenses and do it, because after all you are in the Senate, not me. Okay, so to get this thing
Wrapped up.
I'm Yasmin, he's Vedran, he's Zlatan. Zlatan is amazing. He's much better than this one. I have been listening to his voice for the last 100 and how many episodes? 70,
80, roughly 80, yeah.
So I need to fix quickly. We need to change
My
we need to
voice.
change the hosting duties, and Zlatan is completely fine with this. So we are going to be expanding our podcast crew.
If the voice is only problem, you can use deepfake technology.
We don't have to. ChatGPT talks really nicely, as we've proven in one of the previous episodes.
Okay, so thank you for being with us. I hope that this is the worst bashing that we are going to be doing for with Microsoft Recall, but I'm almost completely sure that this is going to become much more worse.
I think we're going to have to revisit it, yes.
This is going to become worse.
Yeah.
We started with the AI episode, and then we did the AI episode, and this was one of the most important, most interesting episodes for people. I think this one is going to be interesting for people because Microsoft Recall is right now completely unknown for most of the people.
Yeah.
I did the testing on this year students. Nobody knows about this.
That's even better.
And this means that people who are young don't even read about. Okay, they don't read.
That's a given.
Full point. Yes.
But, so we are writing a paper about it.
So, but basically, you can just create some small TikTok about it, so they will not
To explode, to go viral. Nah, we are not that.
I need.
He's not that type of girl.
No. But what I need is Copilot plus PC also.
You too.
Yes.
Oh, poor
Yes,
me.
we need to do some extensive research because
As I said,
to,
we're going to write paper.
I
Obviously.
want to see how can Recall help me write a paper about me writing a paper.
No, you need to see how Recall can help you grade exams.
No. I want the Recall to write a paper on writing a paper on Recall using Recall data.
Excellent.
Okay. Anyways, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, we'll see
you in
each
the
other in
next
the
episode.
next
Yes.
episode. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.